Welcome everyone. Thanks a lot for staying with us. You're watching Plain Speak with me, Shivani Gupta. It doesn't happen very often that two sitting ministers in a government are arrested on corruption charges and are behind bars at the same time. This is even more uncommon, possibly unprecedented for the National Capital Territory of Delhi. But this is the reality today. After Satyendra Jain last year, Manish Sisodia, who's also the Deputy Chief Minister, was arrested by central agencies last evening on charges of corruption. With that, the sitting Education and Health Minister of the Aam Aadmi Party government are now behind bars. The AAP says that this shows that their education plus health model is under attack by the central government to benefit the BJP. But the serious charges against both Jain and Sisodia cannot be wished away by just crying political vendetta. Jain, anyways, has been in jail for nearly a year now. If he hasn't managed to secure a release pending inquiry, can there be a case of political vendetta? Sisodia was named as accused number 1 in the CBI case in the liquor policy scam. His arrest was possibly always on the cards. CBI argued he was also uncooperative and therefore arrested as far as this probe is concerned. What does this do for the Aam Aadmi Party government and the party in general, given that their corruption-free model started in Delhi? Is this the beginning of the end for their national ambitions and even the grip on the national capital? Or will this arrest only strengthen their image as the one the BJP is most afraid of and therefore garner more votes from the anti-BJP camp? We'll take those questions to our guests in just a bit. But first up, the court has granted Sisodia's custody to the CBI for 5 days. A quick breakdown of what the CBI argued today. They said Sisodia directed the secretary for a new cabinet note about changes in this liquor policy. He's directly responsible. We are asking for phone which he has been using since 2020, but that phone has not been forthcoming from Sisodia. They say the case is about profits, conspiracy hatched in a secret manner. They also added wholesale margin for the private vendors was increased suddenly from 5 to 12%. Sisodia did not cooperate, gave evasive replies during the probe. This is what Sisodia's defense panel argued today. The policy, including the profit margin, was approved by the LG. So why not the LG too as far as this probe is concerned? Cannot give the phone to a second-hand shop, his counsel said. It has important data. But he also added that he has always cooperated. His house and office have been raided. Phones have been seized in the past. He added, silence is not non-cooperation. It cannot be a ground to arrest. And a remand for self-incrimination would be a travesty. Those arguments, though, did not find favor with the court just yet. But let me also break down exactly what the entire liquor policy scam or the alleged scam is all about. Now, according to the CBI FIR, Sisodia ordered waiver of 144 crore rupees on tendered license fee. This waiver was given to the liquor cartel under the excuse of the pandemic. Now, this was a straight loss to the exchequer, something the policy has been questioned on. Further, Sisodia, who was the head of the excise department, also ordered to give the wholesale business to private players alone. Their profit margin was also increased from 5 to 12%. Now, it is alleged that Sisodia and the Aam Aadmi Party received 6% of this as kickback. Foreign liquor rates were revised. Import pass fee was removed. The allegation is this made foreign liquor cheaper and also led to the loss of revenue for the state. What else is changed in the policy? Flexible rules made for licensees, allowing them also, for example, to offer discounts. Importantly, there is no record of the files that show how these provisions were included. CBI also alleges changes were made in liquor policy without the LG's approval. So what is exactly Manish Sisodia accused of? He is accused of irregularities, as I pointed out, while modifying the excise policy that existed before this, of granting undue favors to license holders. He allegedly received kickbacks from the beneficiaries, the liquor cartel in this case. And, this is important, tried to tamper with evidence after probe began, allegedly made false entries in books, changed and destroyed multiple phones. Take a closer look at why the CBI was closing in on the Deputy Chief Minister of Delhi and why Sisodia's acts themselves are suspicious beyond the drafting of the policy itself. So first is the story of the missing file. The file with details of how excise policy was drafted is missing. This file had signatories and process of decision making, which is very important when it comes to government decision making. And Sisodia allegedly could not answer about the whereabouts of this file. Then is the case of the missing phones, 18 handsets. 4 SIM cards used by Sisodia from August 2021 to September 2022. 3 mobile phones have been used for 1 SIM card alone, a day after the FIR was filed in this case. And almost all handsets used are missing or destroyed. This is, of course, charges against him. Finally, the aide who turned approver, restaurateur and Sisodia close aide Dinesh Arora, told the CBI that instructions came directly from Sisodia. His aide also told the CBI these instructions about change of the policy were made, quote, informally. Changes in the policy were allegedly made to benefit the new liquor vendors. So the big debate that's coming up, with all of this data available, all of these charges, now a court hearing where all of these charges have also been made and argued against. Manish Sisodia continues to be behind bars. He's the second such minister in the Aam Aadmi Party Delhi government. Can the Aam Aadmi Party deflect the charges?
और सिर्फ राजनीतिक कारणों से और अपने घोटालों पर पर्दा डालने के लिए नरेंद्र मोदी जी की सरकार ने मनीष सिसोदिया को गिरफ्तार किया।
मैं ये कहना चाहता हूं कि मुख्यमंत्री अरविंद केजरीवाल जी को अब दोनों भ्रष्ट मंत्रियों को कैबिनेट से हटा देना चाहिए, मनीष सिसोदिया और सत्येंद्र जैन।
First up, let's cut across to Gaurav Bhatia of the BJP, who's been speaking on the charges against Manish Sisodia and everything that's transpired today. Let's quickly listen in on the BJP.
एक तरफ कानून अपना काम कर रहा है, जो जांच एजेंसी हैं वो ईमानदारी से भ्रष्टाचारियों को कानून के तहत कार्रवाई करती हैं। दूसरी तरफ कट्टर बेईमान और अराजक अपराध पार्टी ना संविधान का सम्मान करती है, ना न्यायालय का सम्मान करती है, ना जनता का सम्मान करती है और ना कानून का सम्मान करती है। अभी अभी न्यायालय ने पारित किया है, उसमें एक्यूज्ड नंबर 1 आबकारी घोटाला, शराब घोटाला को सीबीआई कस्टडी में 4 मार्च तक के लिए दिया गया है। पूरा आदेश आएगा तो इसका अध्ययन भी किया जाएगा और विधिक तौर पे जो मेरी समझ है, मैं समझता हूं ये बड़ा ही अहम फैसला है। सबसे पहले तो जो ओछी घटिया अराजकतापूर्ण राजनीति कल से कट्टर बेईमान लोग अरविंद केजरीवाल के इशारे पर जो कर रहे हैं, उसको उजागर करना बहुत जरूरी है। देखिए, सबसे पहले तो हर कोई ये बात जानता है, उप मुख्यमंत्री कई विभाग के मंत्री हैं। ये जो घोटाला इन्होंने किया है, ये घोटाला आबकारी नीति को लेके है, शराब नीति को लेकर है, शराब नीति।
All right, going across to the guests who are now joining us. That press conference by the BJP ended just a short while ago. Manjinder Singh Sirsa of the BJP joining us, Abhinandita Mathur of the Aam Aadmi Party, Dolly Sharma from the Congress, Tushar Gupta, Swarajya Magazine editor also joining us, Surendra Chauhan, lawyer, and Umesh Sehgal, former Chief Secretary in the National Capital, also with us. Abhinandita, I begin with you. We've heard this again and again from the Aam Aadmi Party that, all of this is to politically attack you. But fundamentally, whether it is the charges against Satyendra Jain or the liquor policy, the government of the Aam Aadmi Party needs to do more to explain what has come out. needs to do more to explain why these changes that are enumerated earlier at the start of the show were made in the first place in the excise policy, and why did you take it back? Political vendetta doesn't explain that.
Right. There are two aspects to this case at hand. One, of course, is the legal aspect, and the other is the political aspect. Unfortunately, the political aspect influences the legal aspect. It influences the administrative aspect and so on. But let me first, speak about the legal aspect. Number one, the case is now sub judice. So there are details that we may not be able to go into that won't be appropriate. What is important here is to understand that Mr. Manish Sisodia was named in the FIR. After a year of searching in, his lockers, his residence, his office, even his village, there was nothing that could be found. There was no evidence against him, and his name was dropped from the charge sheet.
No, that's not true. No, Abhinandita, you're being economical with the truth. No, 1 second.
So that
you cannot, first of all, say that nothing was found against him. That's not your prerogative. That's the agency's job. Secondly, his name was not dropped from the charge sheet. His name was not there in the initial charge sheet. It can always be added later. Dropped is not correct here.
Okay, right. So from FIR, it wasn't converted to...
Yes. Sirsaji, 1 second. I'm coming to you. Yes.
Okay. Now, why we call this vendetta is because there is a very selective look. Everything happens in a larger political context, right? And you will agree that wherever there are charges of any corruption on any other party, if any member of another party, and if they join the BJP, then those charges vanish. So what we are basically saying is that these charges are not substantial. We are also saying that these are politically motivated. And we're saying that you're doing selective targeting on your opponents.
I get that. I've heard all of that before. I find it strange you're saying today the case is sub judice, so you won't talk about it. Frankly, the case has been sub judice since that first charge sheet was filed or the FIR was filed. There are multiple people who've been arrested before Manish Sisodia. The Aam Aadmi Party had no difficulty discussing it till then. And while you say you will not discuss it, you can't always also at the same time sit and say it's political vendetta. None of your answer has answered my question, which is, why was this policy changed in the manner it was changed? What is the defense for it? I don't think the fact that this is in court now bars you from talking about it.
Give me a moment.
Yes.
Let me explain.
Yes.
I have no problem in answering your specific questions. We have spent months and months, even on your shows, explaining and defending and getting into the details of the excise policy. What we are trying to say is it is not about that. And that is the point that I'm making, that we have gone over the technicalities of the policy. We still say that we stand by it. We were well intended. We thought that it's going to make a difference. Many other states, including BJP governed states like Karnataka, have similar policies or in fact more advanced than this. And there, the rules seem to be different. Now, here what is happening is, and you have to accept the fact that everything happens in a political environment.
I give you that much. But that's not an excuse in itself. Also, that somebody else has it is also not an excuse. Also, to say that we were well-intentioned is not a defense in law. The allegation here is not that you made a bad policy. The allegation is you particularly twisted the policy to benefit some and you got kickbacks from them. Mr. Sirsa has been waiting to come in. Let him respond, then I'll come back to you. Yes, Mr. Sirsa.
No, very importantly, I would like to mention here one thing which they will never discuss. A very simple thing. Shivani, the simple thing is, there used to be a 2% commission for wholesalers. And today it's 12%. Not today, till the time this new policy was there. From 2% to 12% with 10% margin. Shivani, you need to mark one very important point here. Now, who are those wholesalers for whom they have increased margin from 2% to 10%? Will they get a wholesale by the way of auction? No. Will they have to bid for it? No. Then how will they get this business? Just by simply with the signature of the finance minister or the excise minister, he will decide that this person will get wholesale license. Now, Shivani, for those people who are not coming to the auction, neither they are bidding, just because they are giving you the underhand money of 6% kickbacks, you are making from 2% to 12%. And very importantly, Shivani, this was neither the part of draft policy, neither it was discussed between the administration, the excise commissioner or other officers, neither it was anywhere in the 3-member committee which was formed by the commissioner, by the chief minister, sorry. And very importantly, what they said in this policy, in a draft policy, a simple line was put, कि कुछ भी changes जो करनी है, that can be done by the group of ministers. Who are those group of ministers? Manish Sisodia, Satinder Jain and Gehlot. Now from 2% increasing to 12%. Now what happened? जो होलसेलर 200 करोड़ रुपए कमा रहा था, उसको 2,500 करोड़ रुपए का लाभ हुआ. कितना? 2,500 crore rupees. Shivani, you need to understand once again. जिसको 200 करोड़ का फायदा हो रहा था, उसको 2,500 करोड़ रुपए का लाभ हुआ. सरकार को 8,000 करोड़ रुपए का लॉस हुआ. और शिवानी, कब ये सब कुछ हुआ? जब दिल्ली के अंदर शराब जो है पिछली बार से अगली इस पॉलिसी के दौरान, केवल इन 8 महीनों के दौरान डबल से ज्यादा शराब बिकी. शराब डबल से ज्यादा बिक गई. सरकार को 8,000 करोड़ का नुकसान हो गया और प्राइवेट लोगों को 200 करोड़ से 2,500 करोड़ का.
बट आम आदमी पार्टी तो मिस्टर सिरसा ये भी नहीं, मिस्टर सिरसा आम आदमी पार्टी तो ये भी कह रही है ये सब कुछ तो अप्रूव हुआ है एलजी के हाथों. बिल्कुल. तो आपने एलजी को क्यों नहीं पकड़ा इसमें? हाँ
शिवानी, वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, ये बहुत अच्छी बात है शिवानी. दिस इज द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट विच आई थिंक वी शुड टू नीड टू डिस्कस हियर. शिवानी, the people who are arrested there in Punjab by the Vigilance Bureau, by the Aam Aadmi Party government, all those policies were also approved by the Governor of Punjab. Let me once again explain you. The people, the Aam Aadmi Party arresting, the Vigilance Department of Punjab Party arresting there. Please let me complete. No, please let me complete. Please let me complete. Madam, please. The role is not the same. Madam, please let me complete. Madam, the rule is... Okay, now the thing is that if you are on a defensive mode, doesn't mean that you won't let me speak. At least let us speak on air. Please, let us. And Shivani, very importantly, देश में पहली बार धरना लगा. बोले मनीष सिसोदिया जिंदाबाद. पीछे से एक बोला महान करप्ट आदमी जिंदाबाद, बेईमान आदमी जिंदाबाद, करप्शन करने वाले जिंदाबाद. कभी सुना है आपने? करप्शन के आदमी के लिए नारे लग रहे हैं, करप्ट आदमी के लिए. और वो करप्ट आदमी कौन है? जिसने स्कूलों से पैसा खाया, जिसने शराब से पैसा खाया, जिसने बसों से पैसा खाया, जिसने टॉयलेट में पैसा खाया. अरे भैया, हर जगह से पैसा खा लिया. मैं नहीं कह रहा. सरकारी गवाह कौन बना? शिवानी, you need to understand every point of this case. Very interesting case is this, but they will never answer to any of our question. Now, who is the main evidence and who is the main person behind this case? Dinesh Arora. Who is Dinesh Arora? One of the close side of Arvind Kejriwal and Manish Sisodia, जिसके जन्मदिन पर जाते थे, केक काटते थे, और जब ये शोर मचा, फटाफट इंस्टाग्राम से फोटो में डिलीट कर. नहीं, उन पे तो प्रेशर भी हो सकता है. I'll come to that in just a bit. But Mr. Sirsa, before I go to others, you explain that LG point. You explain that LG point. Abhinandita is already saying that you cannot compare the role of a governor in a full state to that of an LG in the national capital. Please explain that very quickly, please. 30 seconds. Agreed. No, but here also, the decision which is taken by the elected government, Lieutenant Governor cannot stop. It is only 3 jurisdictions: land, police and administration. Rest all decision has to be taken by the elected government and to be signed by the Lieutenant Governor. They must read this also. Please.
The current Lieutenant Governor
is the case.
Passing orders and files without consultation of the elected government? What are you saying, Mr. Sirsa?
He cannot change.
That is completely unfair.
He cannot change anything.
Apples and oranges.
He's not changing anything. He's asking you a simple questions. Lady, please let me complete it. Now, if you wish to answer, Miss Mathur, let me complete it. It is the Lieutenant Governor's preview only to ask for the government, what is your view on this case? And same is in Punjab Governor also. The Punjab Governor has also asked the Aam Aadmi Party कि बताइए जो आप टीचर भेजने जा रहे हैं आपने सिलेक्ट कैसे किया है. ये jurisdiction में दोनों के पास same preview है. There is nothing difference between the Lieutenant Governor and the Governor when it comes to the elected government powers. There is no difference between both of them. There is no difference. No, but I find it a little bit strange. One second, can I come in? Can I come in?
some of our other guests have not spoken. Dolly, I do find it a little bit strange that the Aam Aadmi Party that day in, day out says the LG is obstructing their work is now using the LG as a shield. As if the LG should be responsible for the Delhi government's policies.
See, actually, it was first the Congress party that exposed the liquor deal and sustained agitations against AAP. We did. On 3rd June, Congress filed a complaint. Hans Baz met Hardeep Singh Puri ji on 21st December 2021 and also protested outside the CM's office last year on 15th February 2022. Sisodia ji gave undue benefits to the liquor by revising the rates of foreign liquor and removing the levy of an import pass fee of beer rupees 50 per case. After the implementation of the new excise policy 2021-22, the AAP was able to increase the revenue by 27%, generating around rupees 8,900 crore. 8,900 crore, madam. And if any changes are made to a policy that has already been implemented, the excise department needs to place them before the cabinet and forward it to the LG for the final approval, and any changes made without the approval of cabinet and LG are illegal and in violation.
That's what the CBI alleges, that the changes were not made with the LG's approval. I do want to ask you, Dolly, you've heard this back and forth between the BJP and the Aam Aadmi Party. Do you fundamentally believe, the Congress party believes that Mr. Manish Sisodia is deservedly in jail, or is he a victim of political vendetta?
See, this is what I'm telling you. When the entire country was reeling under the devastating pandemic, the Delhi government was busy formulating excise policy to mint money. People were dying due to absence of oxygen and the poor healthcare system in Delhi. When will portfolio-less Delhi CM be investigated for his role in the excise? He is the mastermind behind the liquor scam, and there should be an investigation against Kejriwal as well.
Okay, Surendra Chauhan, the Aam Aadmi Party today came out and said, or at least some are suggesting close to the Aam Aadmi Party, that, the Congress should not stay quiet on this. As opposition parties, the Congress and the Aam Aadmi Party should come together on this and fight against these kind of arrests. But the Congress in the national capital is in no such mood. This is not about opposition unity or fighting the BJP together. This is about a pure corruption case.
Well, Shivani, the best part it is the Congress only which unearthed this scam.
Yeah.
The Congress made a complaint and the LG of Lieutenant Governor of Delhi took a notice of that, and that is how a sanction was granted in August 17, 2022.
But why is the Aam Aadmi Party crying wolf for crying political vendetta against the BJP? Are you believing their charge of political vendetta then?
There is no vendetta. It is a criminal misconduct by a public servant. Criminal misconduct, and CBI is a central agency uninterrupted by any vendetta, nothing. It's an independent agency. It has nothing to do with the BJP, it has nothing to do with Congress, it has nothing to do with the Aam Aadmi Party. The officers are finest officers, they are investigating the matter, and after investigation they filed the charge sheet against 7 people, and the supplementary charge sheet is now on the way.
Yeah. The Congress don't changes that tune from time to time. When it suits it, it does say the CBI and the ED are working at the behest of the BJP at the center. When in this case, if it doesn't suit it, then they're doing a good, honest job. Let me bring in Hanji, Dolly ji.
You see, there are two things are there. Two things are there. The arbitrary arrest, one is the arbitrary arrest and one is the arrest
in 8 years have not been able to prove a single charge made by them against
Okay, fair enough. I can't quite get into that. The Aam Aadmi Party can also claim that no charges have actually been proved against them, at least as far as their sitting ministers is concerned. But Tushar Gupta, I come to you with this. Umesh Sehgal is also with us. But before I go to him, Tushar Gupta, I want to come to you. Is it now time that the Aam Aadmi Party takes responsibility and says, okay, we believe these charges are false, our people will come out clean, but at least these 2 ministers cannot continue in the cabinet. This has become a disgrace for the national capital. I don't think it has ever happened in the national capital before that 2 sitting ministers are in jail at the same time.
Absolutely not, Shivani. But it seems that Arvind Kejriwal has already left Manish Sisodia on his own. Because if you compare the last few months, Manish Sisodia has not been seen much in the public, not at least with Arvind Kejriwal. He's not been seen much in Punjab. And just when Kejriwal and Bhagwant Mann were with the Thakres, ignoring the situation in Punjab, Manish Sisodia was not there. So it seems at the party level, Manish Sisodia has already been isolated.
No, but the AAP is protesting all over the country today for Manish Sisodia.
Speculation. This is really fictional, far-out speculation. I mean,
no. Shivani, they are not
absolutely
protesting
no
Manish
evidence of-
Sisodia. No, hold on. I've listened to you.
Blair,
Here's the
what are you
problem.
saying?
Hold on. Ma'am, listen, I did not interrupt you. You do not interrupt me.
Fair enough.
Ma'am, here's the problem. You say the LG should also be held responsible if the liquor policy was passed. Now, either you claim a case, that there is a case and the LG should be convicted as well, or you keep denying it. You cannot do both the things. Then you say that there was no case. We still believe, we still stand by the policy. Your party withdrew it the day an investigation was announced. And let's forget everything. Let's forget the cartel. Let's forget the kickbacks. Where is the question coming of the evidence being damaged, cell phones being damaged, files going missing, evidence being tampered against? Even if you want to, even if you want some of us to believe that there is no case, you yourself are making it worse by making contradictory statements in the public.
Yes, Ms. Mathur. Abhinandita, would you like to respond to that? You cannot have, you cannot play both sides. One, that the policy is good, but also why not arrest the LG?
Well, but what we are saying, and you have to accept the external circumstances, the larger circumstances, the political scenario of a country, right? What we are saying is that why the selective approach? Why would the BJP and the Congress only blame here, the elected government and not actually the administrator as they claim?
But you're the elected government. I can't believe what I'm hearing.
Number two, if the BJP has that, if the BJP is the body that committed to the cause of corruption, there are many.
I can't believe what I'm hearing. Now the elected government should not be held responsible. When you want power, it should all be with the ministers and the chief ministers. Nobody else should interfere. When the policy goes horribly wrong and you are in the dock, then why are you blaming elected government?
No, I think your deduction of what I'm saying is incorrect. That is not what I'm saying.
Then?
What I'm saying is that as things lie in Delhi, there is a constant tussle, we all know it, between the Lieutenant Governor and the elected government. How can it be that if the Lieutenant Governor bypasses the elected government on many occasions, how can it be that when there is in fact his signature, his approval, why would we not bring it up?
But were the changes made after his approval? That's the charge. The changes were not made after his approval. The final policy he cannot stop. Mr. Sirsa wants to come in very quickly. I have to go to Mr. Sehgal as well. Yes. I just don't understand how the AAP can deflect blame by saying that it's not our responsibility, it is the LG's responsibility. That doesn't fly.
That is not what we're saying.
But then Shivani,
Mr. Sirsa.
when they were coming to press conference saying, हमने दिल्ली में एक बहुत अच्छी पॉलिसी बनाई है, अब इस पॉलिसी से दिल्ली को 10,000 करोड़ रुपए का एडिशनल फायदा होगा, हमने बहुत अच्छी पॉलिसी क्रिएट की है, तब तो उन्होंने नहीं कहा कि ये पॉलिसी तो एलजी ने पास की है जी, तब तो कहते थे क्रेडिट हमें दे दो जी। हमने देखिए अरविंद केजरीवाल जी का एक मॉडस ऑपरेंडी है, उनकी मॉडस ऑपरेंडी क्या है, जिस चीज में वो करप्शन करने जा रहे हैं पहले उसको बहुत अच्छा पेश करेंगे। बसें आने जा रही हैं जी, बसें बहुत अच्छी होंगी जी, बसों में ये भी सब कुछ होगा जी, स्कूल बहुत अच्छे बनने जा रहे हैं, स्कूलों में करप्शन करनी थी तो स्कूलों के कमरे गिनाने शुरू कर दिए, शराब में करप्शन करनी थी तो शराब पॉलिसी को पहले से बहुत अच्छी बनने जा रही है, बहुत अच्छी पॉलिसी ला रहे हैं। तो बड़ा सिंपल सवाल है, हमने सब कुछ आपकी बात मान ली। मिस माथुर ये बता दीजिए, लेफ्टिनेंट गवर्नर के पास तो फाइल नहीं है, फाइल तो आप ही के पास थी, डिपार्टमेंट आपका है, वो फाइल क्यों मिसिंग है? और मनीष सिसोदिया ने अपने फोन क्यों डैमेज किया? आप तो मनीष सिसोदिया तो सिर्फ सरकार की तनख्वाह पे काम करते हैं, वो भी 1.5 लाख रुपए तनख्वाह भी नहीं है उनकी। एक मोबाइल फोन 1,40,000 रुपए का जो उन्होंने डिस्ट्रॉय किया, ऐसे 4 फोन उन्होंने, क्या मजबूरी थी उन्होंने ऐसे 4 फोन डिस्ट्रॉय किए? मिस माथुर, क्या आप इस बात का जवाब दे सकती हैं?
Yes, very quickly.
खाली मनीष सिसोदिया ने 4 फोन डिस्ट्रॉय किए।
मुझे नहीं लगता कि अगर बीजेपी का कोई भी पर्सन हमारे से ये पूछे कि आपके पास 4 मोबाइल कैसे आए, ये वो पार्टी है, आपकी पार्टी वो पार्टी है जो इस टाइम अदानी को ऐसे भरत मिलाप किया हुआ है, और उसके बाद
देखिए जवाब नहीं है ना, आप समझ गए ना, आप समझ गए ना, मुद्दा समझ गए ना, मुद्दा तो करप्शन है, लेकिन इनके पास करप्शन का जवाब नहीं है।
ये व्हाटअबाउटरी हो रही है। Unfortunately, what happens is, no, one second, no, I have to give some time to my other guests also. What happens is that once you get elected multiple times. You've had a virtually uninterrupted run in Delhi politics for 10 years now. You don't get to play whataboutery. It is as simple as that.
Shivani,
Yes, Tushar, finish very quickly. Mr. Sehgal is waiting.
Ms. Mathur, 23 minutes ago, you made a point that this is political vendetta. There is no case. This is vendetta against the Aam Aadmi Party. 23 minutes ago, on this very debate amongst us, and 23 minutes later, you're saying you also held the governor responsible if there is indeed a problem with the policy. I mean, look at the contradictions you're making.
No, not at all. It's not a contradiction. Both the things can
There
be
is a
true.
case. So there is a case.
Both the things can be, exclusive arguments. How does it become contradictory? What we are saying is that we are saying we are pleading innocent. We are pleading innocent.
Yes or no?
You make offenses against us. We say, well,
Okay.
well, then the charges can't be just on us. I'm sorry, but I don't see any reason for these two statements to be contradictory.
No, can I just come in? I just feel fundamentally whether the case has whether there is a scam or not a scam, this argument doesn't fly that why are you not booking the LG also. I'll go to Mr. Sehgal, who was a former chief secretary in the National Capital, to get an answer on that. Is it fair for the Aam Aadmi Party to today say that, listen, we made the policy with all the best intentions. Fine, we rolled it back because there were questions being raised over it. There was no corruption as far as we are concerned. But if you are investigating us, investigate the LG also. Is that a fair argument to make?
Well, I don't know. Any argument can be given. Whether it is fair or not, it will be determined by the court. If you think the LG is also responsible for all the corruption that has taken place, you can move an application before the court and ask them that he should also be summoned and he should also be tried on the same offense that we are being tried. The point is that if the cabinet has decided, can you now book the whole cabinet? Can you now book the chief minister also? Because he also surely must have signed the file. Just because the person has signed. Now, here the Lieutenant Governor's position in Delhi is a bit odd. The Supreme Court has held that in the transferred subjects, that means apart from those 3 reserved subjects, he will normally I'm saying, not interfere with the decisions of the cabinet. And the transaction of business rule says that he can return it once, he should discuss, and by and large agree. Now, the Lieutenant Governor has agreed with the policy framed and according to them after some discussions. Now, in the policy, some changes have been made later, and while implementing the policy, some corruption has been made. Now, how can you hold the LG or the Chief Minister or anyone responsible unless you can connect them with those changes which have been made?
And then there is the issue of the kickbacks. The allegation is, and the CBI will obviously have to prove this, the kickbacks went to Aam Aadmi Party, not to the LG.
Kickbacks is one. The second issue is that 148 crores have been returned with the orders of Mr. Sisodia. He never took the orders of the Lieutenant Governor on that. Is he not answerable for that? Why did you return the 148 crores? He should be able to explain it. It's not a small amount of money. It is a huge amount of money. And this 10,000 crores and all are, of course, political statements. But the point is that hundreds of crores have definitely been lost because of corrupt practices. This 2 to 12% is another huge corrupt practice, especially when the allegation is, and I believe the allegation is made by an approver who has made a statement under oath that 6% of this was a kickback.
Kickback, yes.
Now, all this, the CBI has investigated and they have found a case. And now they want to question the person who is held by a large number of people to be responsible. Now they feel that he has not answered their questions fairly and answered because they have sought for a remand. Now I have no doubt that a session judge who has seen into this and has huge judicial experience would not have gone through all the papers and would just allow a remand of 5 days just because the CBI is...
If there was nothing.
No.
If this was only purely political vendetta and no facts on paper, it wouldn't have happened like that. But I would say that this is more a preliminary, hearing after an arrest. Generally, the agencies get what they want. as it moves on, it remains to be seen whether they can justify the charges against Mr. Sisodia.
I'm sorry. The agencies usually don't get police remands. Police remands are not easy to get from courts of law. In cases where there is a strong presumption of guilt, do they allow this sort of interrogation?
No, that's
and rightly the courts have mentioned, Supreme Court decision, that this should be a huge exception. Now, if the judge, section judge, who has heard the case, you and I have not. We have just read what is in the papers or heard what is on the media.
Enough.
We have not heard the case. He has heard the case. He has seen the papers. He has seen the confessions. He has seen the approval statement. And after that, he has allowed a remand. So there is more than a prima facie reason to believe that there is involvement.
I have to leave it at that. And that brings me to my central question that I was asking. Given these circumstances, will it fly with the public that this is political vendetta? Will this help or hurt the Aam Aadmi Party eventually? I think we'll continue to debate that in days to come. I do thank all of our guests for joining us for today. I have to slip into a very short break. On the other side, we'll get you how the COVID lab leak has returned. US Energy Department is now saying they believe COVID was a result of a leak from China's Wuhan lab. More on this in just a bit. Has erupted.